Hey there.
Hey, everybody.
How you doing, Chris?
Throat's a little rough from talking, but
You
doing
got
good.
a great radio voice right now.
I do right now, baby.
Yeah. Please don't call me baby. You're getting me excited over here. Okay.
Yeah.
Bro, you're tired.
Oh, yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting show.
Well, yeah, and then on top of that beer.
Yeah, so what is this beer that we're drinking? You want to give us the
411
the
for all our
411
beer
from
drinking
your
needs.
Well, and also from this being a gift.
Yes, this is a gift. This is a really nice gift.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm really loving that voice. Maybe I need to talk loud more
Wait a minute.
before show. Yeah, this is another Dragon's Milk product from Michigan.
Michigan,
baby.
Thank you, Jason.
And yes, another huge thank you to Jason. This is their triple mash bourbon barrel aged stout.
I mean, if it's bourbon barrel aged, I'm usually down.
Correct. And the others that I've had from them have been bourbon barrel aged.
Nice.
Oof, that's going to be tough to talk after I've had a few sips of this.
Bourbon barrel aged.
Yes,
No.
because this is not your average beer, and it's not your average bourbon aged. Typically, I've run into those around 10%,
Mm-hmm.
kind of that beginning of high gravity.
Mm-hmm.
This is 18.7.
I mean,
So hello.
I'm just saying, I've been saying for a couple days over the past week or so, like I'm ready for some beer.
Ready for some good stuff.
So I'm glad we're getting to talk today.
Yeah. So they say triple mash is the ultimate indulgence, the result of years of honing technique. I'm having trouble reading tonight. I guess I'm that tired. And pushing the limits of what a stout can be.
Well, there you go.
I'll take it. So yeah, I think this is going to be pretty good. We'll have to pace ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Pour the beer.
do the honors. Yeah, I've had better on the sound. I've had better on the sound.
Better on the
anyways. I
sound,
better
for
get up
sure.
on the mic.
Well, you know.
All right.
Um.
Still want to work on getting some etching on these glasses.
Yeah. No, I think we got to get that gear on the side.
I need to talk again. The reoccurring resource for the show. I need to talk to Jason.
Yeah, Jason.
His wife, I believe, does.
Jason
etching.
is an unofficial sponsor. I think,
Yeah.
of our show.
Yeah, he's a
This episode brought to you by
unofficial producer.
Jason.
So, although I will shame him a little bit. He hadn't sent a boost in a while.
Shame.
I know he's listening.
Shame, Jason. Shame on you. Well, I bet he's like, well, I'm the only one sending these, so.
Yeah. I know he's not the only one listening. Speaking of listening, I can confirm that Michael Moore is listening.
Yes. So sorry about what I said in the last one of your boss not listening. My bad.
That was the previous boss.
That was the previous boss. We weren't talking about you, Michael.
No.
Hey,
All
thanks for
right.
we Okay.
So what does this smell like?
It smells delicious.
Oh.
I'm in trouble because we were supposed to pace this, and that I will tell you for everybody who's
That's good.
wondering if you should go pick one of these up. Like, that smells great.
Well,
And by go pick this up, I mean order it.
Jason found, and I'm not recommending that we do this, but I'd be willing to split. He found somebody that was selling a 24-pack,
Okay.
$130. It's a little stout on the price, but it's not your average beer.
Oh my goodness.
Because, I mean, if you drink the whole
Clink.
bottle, yeah, clean. That's like drinking 4 normal beers.
Yeah.
So,
Goodness.
man, it smells good.
So each of us are drinking 2 right now.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh, that is smooth.
Okay. Well,
Especially for bourbon barrel aged.
guys, we may not have much of a show. We're just going to sit
Yes.
here and smack our lips at
I
this
apologize in advance for any slurring of my words.
beer. So what we were saying is, last week
Yeah.
Last week, we got to talk about some of the challenges that we face as IT support individuals. Part of that being just the nature of IT now in terms of the amount of change that happens in a single year from month to month with gear and serviceability and softwares and everything needing to interact with each other. And there's so many options, but also because of those options, there's also less options in a lot of ways for some things. And it makes it hard to be an expert on everything.
Correct.
So being able to Google is kind of your best friend.
Yeah, you become a jack of all trades.
I did find myself the other day. I mean, y'all can all probably relate to this. I found myself texting Kris a question, and then he's in meetings and he's doing his own thing, and I realized I should just Google this instead of asking my friend. I'm expecting you to have all the answers right at the tip of your
right at my fingertips,
but so do I. So anyway,
Google definitely can be your friend.
Have we talked about let me Google that for you? You remember that?
I think we did.
For those of you that don't know, there was a service there for a while that you was whatever the letters are for the first letters for let me Google that for you. And you could go to their website and type in a search, and then it would give you a link to share with somebody where basically you shared it with them, and when they clicked on it, it took them to Google and typed in the question that they asked you.
Yep. Gave them the results.
And then gave them the results.
Yep.
Which I think is pretty snarky, but also some people kind of need it.
It's a teaching opportunity.
It is a teaching opportunity. You are able to do this.
Yes.
You can do this.
I'm not going to use the E word, but you are helping them.
Yeah. The E word. Thank you for that.
Well, people who are listening and know me know the E word that I don't like.
We're not going to use that word.
No.
But anyway, so that's a catch-22 because then people get half answers when they Google for themselves.
Yeah.
And when you don't know the pitfalls of what you're looking at on a screen that's telling you to do one thing and kind of the reality of what you're getting on the other side, it makes it difficult sometimes. But you've got a lot of semi-informed people that you then got to walk back through what they did.
Yep.
And then, out to where the real answers are.
Yep.
And that makes it difficult for a lot of different ways. One of the things, though, that we were talking about just a second ago, kind of in relation to Kris just got off of a staff retreat.
Mm-hmm.
We also had a staff day last week on Wednesday, and then I think I have another one coming up in October, but it's not a full staff retreat, but just some making sure that we have certain conversations. Anytime IT guys, I feel like are usually introverted. Not always the case. You extroverts out there that are listening, grateful for you.
Yes.
You're weird. But a lot of times with staff meetings, you said exactly what I was expecting whenever I asked you about it. It's well, this is put on by extroverts.
Yes, it is.
And they're not really thinking at all about what maybe an introvert would be thinking inside of this thing.
Well, I can share one thing that they did, just to kind of give you an idea, is we played Farkle. Okay game, no big deal. But they had the losers from every table combined into tables until they ultimately got down to the final table. And then you had essentially the ultimate loser of the Farkle tournament.
Yeah.
So the loser essentially got a hazing and had to dress like a lobster. So the introvert
That
in
does
me,
not feel uplifting to me.
No.
Why are we doing this?
The introvert in me the whole time at that table was like, I just don't want to lose. I just don't want to lose. And I thankfully didn't, because the idea
I need to win once.
Yeah. All I need to do is win one time and I'm out and I'm safe. So that is not something that introverts would do to other people.
No, because we're considerate.
Yes, we are.
And we don't hate you. Extroverts are like, let's all laugh at somebody. And the introverts are like, I wouldn't want that to be me.
No.
So why would I make somebody else do that?
Yes.
You people.
So.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm calling it. Extroverts are immoral. Just immoral, godless Philistines. All of you. Okay, sorry. That was a joke. That's the beer talking.
There you go.
No. But it does seem like that's, a kind of a funny thing that happens whenever, you put the life of the party in charge of the party. Something's going to get awkward for those of us that don't really want to be at the party. But one of the things that this reminded me of is actually like I was having to work during our staff meeting. I don't know if you had to do any problem solving or any support stuff while you were at staff retreat.
When the rain came through yesterday, I took down the bridge. Oh my so
gosh,
yeah,
of course
we had to go fix that.
But like that's I feel like we're always on call with stuff like that. And I mean, this just the nature of what I'm doing right now. I cannot be out of the office for 6 hours and not have fallen way behind, and then I don't have time to catch up. Like there's no margin,
correct,
right now. So it's a season, not always going to be this way. Grateful for that, but also it's just the way that it is. And when you're in those situations where you're, he just wowed.
That's just good. Man, that's just good.
When you're in those situations where you are maybe, like we're going to do this neat thing and not be at the office. But we still need to be able to be productive.
Yes.
This is a good segue into mobile IT.
Yes.
Take it away, Kris.
Take it away. Here we go. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of this obviously got pushed through the whole COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you found out who was prepared and who wasn't. Whether that was, well, that time it was everybody obviously working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually it was teams rotating in and out of the office.
Mm-hmm.
And then just trying to figure out how all that works. That's when you start to see some of the limitations of traditional IT, whether that be things like Active Directory. That is such a premise-driven piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And we found ourselves a couple of times with people having trouble being able to log in, and we did some fun tricks of remoting into their computer and connecting a VPN and then doing a switch user, and it authenticated against Active Directory, and we got them back in, and it was like, here you go. Hopefully we don't have to go through this again.
And if you followed that, that's why you're listening to this show.
Yes, I probably went a little far down the rabbit hole.
No, that was great. That was perfect.
So, but all that to say that, as you become more mobile, you do have to not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but you've got to rethink what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was initially presented with that, I was clinging to Active Directory with everything that I had. And I'm like, no. This is business. This is the way it works. This is the way it's always been. And so just having to let go, and you start getting into cloud-based directories.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of options out there.
Mm-hmm.
It really opens up your ability to let your staff be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Love the idea that I could send you a laptop. You may be halfway around the world. It arrives. All you need is basic Wi-Fi,
mm-hmm.
and you've got your login, and you're right into that system. It goes right into the management, starts pushing applications, and you're off and running. Instead of me having to ship it to me, get it connected directory, push all the applications either manually or through our internal
Mm-hmm.
pieces, package it up, ship it to you, and then see, okay, what potential issues do we run into when you take this thing out of the box and you're halfway around the world?
Mm-hmm.
So that's really game changing. That really enables you to be a small team,
Mm-hmm.
but still be incredibly nimble.
Yeah.
And able to support your staff anywhere they are. Zoom obviously became a big piece of a mobile workforce. Obviously, there's other things like Google Meets, and still got Microsoft Teams.
Mm.
All of these are viable, but it has become a big piece of a mobile workforce, because you're not necessarily always going to be in a physical location that's going to have a meeting room with hardware.
Yeah, it's less and less of a thing.
Yeah. Now, I will say, when you do have meeting rooms and people still sit at their desks and connect in, I'm going, we have a room right there. Beautiful TV, beautiful hardware.
Big old TV.
Go do that.
Yeah.
I've got 15 of you sitting here, all with this connection, clogging up the Wi-Fi, clogging up the internet connection. Do everybody a favor. Go to that room.
Yeah.
One connection instead of 15. Everybody's happy, especially your IT team. So that is one of those things that is just kind of like, that's an education piece of like, I know this is just what you're used to, but when you're here, take advantage of that. That's why they're here.
Yeah.
It's different if you're truly are remote and you've got to get in.
But see, this is part of what I want to talk about, is just like the knowledge to be able to say, like, I know, like, people know, like they look for a Wi-Fi connection.
Yes.
If they need a password, they know that the ones with passwords are the better ones
Than an open network.
an open network. So
Yes.
they want the password protected one.
Yes.
They know to do all of that. They know they're going to ask you what your Wi-Fi password is. They're going to want to be on it, and they know when Wi-Fi is good and when it's bad. Like, they know all of that, but they don't know why. So there's that disconnect again, that IT professionals are having to kind of step through inside of it, where they're saying, like, well, I know you understand part of this from the experience side of it, but let me tell you what would help with that. Let me walk you into this space, and so let me just give a practical here from last week with the two of us.
Yeah.
We have to talk through budget stuff every year. Everybody does. And so we were getting, Kris and I were getting asked questions about why we went with a certain solution, or why, and it wasn't even why we went with a certain solution. It was why we think these things that we think we need to purchase are better than maybe ones that cost less.
Sure.
And so then you have to go through. I was getting a little flustered actually in the meeting, and I think Kris knows that. Kris, for those of you that know Kris, I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and say it on here, so I've said it. He's incredibly patient, and I say that in humility, because like I lose patience really quickly inside of answering questions when I feel like the person asking questions isn't listening or is sticking to an idea that we've moved past or something like that. Not so with my friend across the table. Anyway, so we were trying to explain, like, you know, if somebody asks you these questions, or if these things are being questioned, like there are reasons behind both what we've chosen and what we are suggesting for the future that have, you know, a lot of explanations attached to them. This is hours and hours of research that's gone into this, from not just this year, but like years before. So we chose the hardware that we've kind of implemented across this organization because of the desire for the staff to be more mobile. And there are certain offerings that are out there when it comes to setting up your network that are more pliable to mobility. I think this is a trend we're going to see further down the line, but there are of course people that who have decided like we really need to be in that space, and so most of what they're innovating on are those things.
Mm-hmm.
We chose one of those a long time ago.
Yes.
I mean, goodness, was that 2017? Was it that long ago? It's hard for me to remember.
It was before I. Well, no, because when I first started, I'm trying to remember what year. Has it been 5 years since I started? Because I know it was pre-COVID.
I don't know.
So it's been 5, possibly 6.
So either 2019 or 2018.
Yeah, something in that range. And so, yeah, when I got here, we still had a lot of all the Dell Sonic Wall.
We had a lot of Dell. We had a lot of Sonic Wall. We also had a lot of Linksys.
Yes. It was typical of what you would see when there hasn't been a lot of focus on IT. It's
right.
It's patched together. I mean, the firewall was not a bad firewall. Don't get me wrong.
No.
Sonic Wall is a great product, but it really wasn't what the vision was that we were trying to go for. And so that's what drove us into Unify.
Yeah.
Now you can sit down with IT guys and pick it apart, and and there's some that are just adamant against it. It's like it's not a bad product.
No.
And so it's given us all the abilities that we've needed and more. It's given us the abilities to be able to manage it from anywhere.
Yeah.
It's so easy to manage.
Yeah.
The mobile app is very feature rich.
Most of them are.
I will tell you, it's more feature rich than the Meraki app that we use. And I love the Meraki app.
Yeah.
But the Unify app has so many more capabilities and features. They're very affordable. Again, you're setting yourself up on a unified platform. I'm trying to avoid as many buzz terms as I can here. I don't want to be Silicon Valley. But it was the right choice. It was the right decision. You don't want to be piecemealed. You don't want this out-of-the-box Best Buy experience.
Well, and you start looking at the more feature-rich offerings that are out there, and you start to realize how, like, you're not just paying for the product, you're paying for service agreements, you're paying for, like that licensing that's happening every month or year, or whatever the drug dealer model is now.
Yeah.
And you start to be like, okay, well that's a cost and it adds up. And I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm saying we didn't have that money.
Correct.
And we still don't have that money.
Correct.
And so when somebody's asking that question, they don't know any of this, but they expect to understand all the decision making that's going into it.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I don't know what to say at this point. I just need you to understand, like, we're building infrastructure.
Yes.
And you're talking about changing from PVC to copper pipe. And I'm like, why would we do that?
Yep.
I mean, whatever.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. I don't recommend this if you're trying to explain things ultimately for budget, but I think there's truth in this.
Mm-hmm.
You just simply ask them, do you like the way things work? Do you like the dependability of our network?
Mm-hmm.
I know I sure do. I hope you do too.
Right.
And so, we can go back to the old days that you probably don't remember.
I do.
Yeah, I do too. And you get these staff and users just get so used to things just constantly working,
right,
that they don't notice when it works. You only notice when it's broken and there's a problem.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately really the way you want your IT to be.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be noticed.
No.
Because if you're being noticed, something is wrong.
Yep.
And so it just keeps coming back to, we're solid. You don't have worries. We're not spending an arm and a leg here.
Yeah.
We've got an excellent solution, and we want to maintain this.
Right.
We don't want to go back in any way.
No. We want to keep being forward thinking
Yes.
with making sure that things work
Yes.
and not waiting until they don't to fix it.
Correct.
In terms of especially things that you can't update all of these pieces at the same time. You want to update in cycles. And again, if you haven't ever done, man, I wish there was a resource for that I could off the top of my head like point you towards. If you haven't looked at making sure that your update schedule, like that, number one, you have an update schedule and that you are refreshing your devices, be it laptops or switches or TVs or whatever it is, like so many different things on a regular basis. And by regular basis, I mean it could be anywhere from 3 to 10 years, depending on the life of the product or anything like that. But that you are thinking about that before it happens, especially if these are certain products that you have certain solutions. I won't even say products, certain solutions that you have a lot of. I'm having a hard time not just finishing because that beer is so good.
It is.
Anyway, darn you, Chris. Darn you, Jason.
Darn you, Jason. And you should have brought more.
Yeah. This is a problem. So, like, if there's something that you're relying a lot on, or if you just have a whole lot of them, like just making sure that there is you're thinking about how to not wait for catastrophe.
Correct. Correct.
To be replacing things.
Technology is built by humans. Humans are flawed. Therefore, our technology is flawed.
And so are the people using it. Sean Welch, listening.
Gatorade
there's no way you're listening, but
no,
I'm telling you,
not.
we all know the guy who spilled something on a computer, and
a few.
There was still Gatorade coming out of that machine when it was handed to Chris.
That one was epic. Yeah, you open it up and you just turn it, and it pours out the side, and you can still hear the snap, crackle, pop.
Oh my gosh!
Because the battery has juice still. Oh man. That one was a good one.
Not picking on him.
No.
Just saying, like stuff like that happens.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it happens, and you've got to be prepared for it as an IT professional.
Correct. Yeah, whenever possible, you want to maintain some kind of spares on the shelf. Some things are obviously a little too expensive.
Yeah.
And you may not be able to. But if you can keep a couple extra computers aside, if you can keep at least a spare switch, and a spare access point.
Yeah.
These things are going to happen. Good example, what we've run into on at least 2 occasions. ACs have problems.
Oh my gosh.
And they leak.
Mm-hmm.
We have had 2 access points be killed by ACs because the drain pans overflow and it pours into the access point.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And
You're thinking about like an AC that's situated above a ceiling.
Yes.
And the access point is below it.
Correct.
That's a bad situation.
Correct. And you pull it off and you move the access point and the water literally pours out.
Oh my gosh, Chris, I'm having like nightmares right now. I'm starting to try to like run through all of our access points real quick. Me like, are any of those underneath AC units? Because
you try to avoid it.
Sure, but like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
So
not off the top of my head, but let me tell you what.
Odd things happen.
I'm going to be looking at that, or we're building another building before long, and I will definitely be logging that in as something I need to look at.
Correct. Where are you putting that?
I just want to know where your AC units are so I can not put access points beneath them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can we please not run major water lines above the server room?
For the love. I mean, no, that's not cool. Like that's a different level right there. I don't even want to talk about that. We did have a water leak here today that they've been trying to fix over and over and over again with no luck. So we're without bathrooms currently. Just in case that beer hits harder. I finished mine now, and I am so sad.
Yeah, I'm looking at this last drink, and I'm like, it's all gone.
It's all gone.
Mm.
Jason, you have created a monster here.
For sure, the next time he goes to Michigan, I'm giving him money.
Yeah, like, hey, bud, let me know before you go so I can fund your trip or something. Oh, man. I mean, I think we're unanimous. Y'all, if you have the chance to get this Dragon's Milk triple mash, do it.
It's a winner.
That is worth it.
It's a winner.
We were talking about mobile.
Yes.
Oh, I actually had a moment today, and you'll appreciate this because we know this. We both know this situation. So we have a staff member who would rather not use their cell phone to call some people.
There's nothing wrong with not giving your personal number out.
I totally get it. It makes all kinds of sense. But we, as an organization, have not in the past really provided another way in this. It's just kind of always been understood. If you need to call somebody and you're not at church or not on the property, then you need to use your personal device to do that.
Yeah.
But again, Unify has an offering for this, and so we were testing it, and I thought we actually rolled it out to her, but talked to her today, and she has not experienced that. I was talking to her about another problem that she was having, or this individual was having, and was trying to figure out, like, there's honestly, it's just she has a software that she uses, and I was trying to. She had gotten an error whenever she tried to email people using the software, and it's very obviously, at least in my opinion, that the password has changed, like her email password has changed, and I just could not find for the life of me. Was sitting there for a good 15 or 20 minutes, scrolling through menus. Could not for the life of me find where I could update that. So I was like, you're going to have to call their support. But in the midst of like figuring out what was actually going on and why they're having this issue, I'm hearing like their conversation between this individual and her supervisor. And they're talking about like how, oh, well, no, you can't do that. Like, you got to make sure that you're up here if you're wanting to do that or this or whatever. And I was like, no, you don't. And the supervisor was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, we'll just set up a VPN. Like, you don't have to be here to be on our network.
Yeah. And
she was like, what are you talking about? And so like just that moment of like, oh yeah, like we have made this system able to work for you in so many different ways, and somehow you are unaware of how flexible we've made everything.
Yep.
I appreciate that you did not beat down my door asking for the capability to change somebody's hours without having to be on property to do it. But let me tell you, like, that's super easy now.
Yes, it is.
And I would love to walk you through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was like things like that and the soft phone technology and everything like that to be able to use your business line not on property.
Yep.
Or from your cell phone and things like that. That it's like, this is why we work so hard to build an infrastructure that can support this.
Yes.
And then you got to like flesh it out. So there are things like that have just been really like spinning around in my mind, especially. And this is not supposed to be like a Unify or Ubiquity like
Love
commercial.
Fest.
Like I'm not. That's not what we're doing. This is just the tool that we chose to use, and because of the capabilities that it has, we were able to do some of these things and able to like walk through different requests that are being made.
Yep.
Because of the necessity of, or not necessity of, because of the nature of having a more mobile staff.
Yes.
Of having a more nimble organization in terms of where you can get stuff done. I cannot tell you how many people I've been talking to about our property and be like, oh no, like I schedule all the locks and ACs, but if you have a problem, just text me and I will make sure that it gets changed. I can do that remotely.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, whoa, that's incredible. I'm like, no, it's not. Like the world that we live in now.
Yeah, it's kind of expected.
This is expected.
Absolutely.
I mean, I used to laugh with Colson all the time about how everybody freaks out now over QR codes. We've got to have QR codes. Everything has to have a QR code. Why don't we have a QR code on that? And we need to make a QR code for this or whatever. And wouldn't it be neat if we had a QR code for that? And I'm like, are you kidding me? We're talking about like technology from 2005, 6?
Yeah.
Maybe 8? I don't know. Like whatever the thing on that was, I'm like, that's at least 15 years ago. Why are we not talking about NFC? I mean, at least that's 7 years ago.
Yep.
But, which by the way, I did find, because we're always asked for signage that has QR codes on it. I found signage that found signage. I got advertised signage that has NFC on it. And I was like,
nice.
Man, I'm going to blow these QR code people's minds. Just hold your phone next to it.
Yeah, just give it a light tap.
No big deal. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we talk about the ease of Unify. We could achieve some of these other things. You could piecemeal it.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a PF Sense firewall.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great product. You can either buy their appliance or do your own.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can set up something like an Open VPN and run the Open VPN client. And then you've got to download all the configuration files and get everything going for people. There's ways to put all this together. But when you can choose a platform that just kind of takes care of all the pieces for you, you have as close to a single pane of glass to manage it. It makes your life so much easier, and you don't have to go to 10 different places just to make simple things work for your staff.
Mm-hmm.
And that is huge when you have a very small team. You have a lot of work to achieve, and you have a finite amount of time to put all this together and to take care of everybody.
Welcome to most IT.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, what you just described, I'm like, everybody expects one IT professional to be able to take care of, I don't know how many people.
I think the last that I had seen in a lot of places, it's been one person from anywhere from 250 to 500 people.
Oh.
And that's insane to think of.
Like that made me want to throw up.
Yeah, that's a lot of people to take care of.
Yeah, that is so much.
Yeah.
Well, Kris, I don't have a place for that in my brain.
Well, I think about it, when we get into the summer, we've got 200 or so year-round staff, and then we've got another 2,500 or so college staff who are using shared equipment on the network, whether it's an all-in-one, it's a Chromebook, whatever it may be. I mean, and not all of them are on property. A good chunk of them are remote with City. And City is absolutely sharing all the resources that they have. So, and there is 1, 2, 3 of us right now. There was 4. But I mean, right now, if summer was happening, there'd be 3 of us supporting everybody. Not just IT, but also AV. So even when you've got 4 people, and you've got 2,500 or so summer staff plus a couple hundred full-time staff, we're a very small team helping to support all those people in some way or another.
I'm dying.
So,
like, there's all like my inside of my skull right now. There's just screaming.
Yeah.
Because I don't, that cannot be good. Like, I know, like, you and I both know what you're talking about and, like, what I'm talking about in terms of personnel and whatever, but, like, that's not a normal thing. Like, that cannot be what is expected of.
Sure. And then some of that even extends to some degree to Saturday and Sunday when campers are gone and they're trying to utilize their own devices on guest Wi-Fi, and hey, we've got a problem. And so you're like, well, let me see what I can figure out.
Yeah.
And you can only go so far with a personal device.
Yeah, I definitely had that feeling today when I was trying to, like, knock things out of my to-do list, and then 4 more things showed up from non-staff members.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm never going to get done.
There is no end to what we do.
No.
But it is job security.
Sure. Unless they find some new person that can do it faster than you.
And it's why we sometimes have these.
Yeah, bro. That dragon's milk was awesome.
Yes, it is.
Big fan of the triple mash. Holy cow. I will say, make sure that you're not driving when you drink the dragon's milk.
Especially if you're going to drink it by yourself.
Holy cow. Like, I drank half of that thing.
Yeah.
And it's not like, I mean, you tell me, how much am I slurring? But,
I think we're doing okay so far.
but it was really good.
Yeah. But I don't recommend drinking it and driving heavy machinery.
No.
And
I would not.
Those
no.
of you who are out there know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it might have made it fun, but I don't recommend it.
Yeah. I feel like maybe I should have eaten lunch today. No time for that. You don't have time for lunch? I don't have time for lunch.
No, you have people to take care of.
I have
things to do. Places to go.
Support tickets.
Yes.
Waiting on me.
Yes.
Or whatever that is. Anyway. Man, we hope that there was something inside of this. Sometimes it just feels like a complaint fest. That hasn't been what this podcast has felt like to me in the past. But
yeah,
right now, my just general mentality sometimes can feel that way. So
yeah,
sorry about that.
Well, we're just kind of scratching the surface of this topic. There'll be a lot more to dig into.
Oh, for sure.
Different options that you can obviously consider.
Yeah.
Just because we threw out Unify doesn't mean it's the only way to go.
Oh, it's definitely not. And like I said, we did not mean for that to be a love fest in any way. We are not sponsored by Unify. Every piece of gear we have is purchased by us, and we want to make sure that we're giving you all the information that we can.
Yes. But if they're listening, I could use a couple access points.
Bro. I got a friend who's really interested in have you seen the have you gone to like the Connect page and seen they've got the amp, basically the speaker amplifier that connects to your system? I don't mean to ruin your day.
We're talking about Unify?
Yeah. Unify has they so this is one of those a lot of network appliances trying to figure out the Internet of Things category. And if you don't know what that is, look it up, because it's very popular right now. But the Internet of Things moving not just from being a household type solution where you can turn on your lights and your TV and unlock your door and stuff like that, but actually moving into commercial, that seems to be more of a thing now, because people are getting this like, oh, I can do all these things at home, I should be able to do this at work. And so that turning into more of an enterprise type thing, they have what I was trying to reference was Ubiquiti has made a whatever you call it, has made an amp that can connect to your
I'm seeing this now.
system that not only will allow you to play music over it and stuff like that, but will actually you run the leads then to to the devices directly from this device, or to the speakers directly from this device, and being able to power things, but also be selective in which music is going where and stuff like that.
Yeah, so this is kind of getting into the Sonos arena.
It is, but like
I have one complaint.
but baked into your network devices.
Yeah, I have one complaint.
Go for it.
There's no Chromecast support.
There's no Chromecast support. Sorry, Chris.
There's the first beer effect, at least that I detected. Yeah, I mean, it's great that you've got AirPlay.
There's stuff you can't do.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I get that you've got AirPlay and you've got the silly Spotify Connect. Really?
I can't. I mean, anyway, I'm not going to say anything.
Unify for listening. You need Chromecast. Now, it may already, the hardware may be there and they just haven't enabled it yet.
Hey, maybe.
Because I know Apple charges money.
Yeah, they do.
For you to pull off AirPlay. So Google may have some similar pieces. But yeah, we got to bring the Chromecast support into this. But this, I love the idea of this.
Oh, bro, I saw a short today that you would have just wanted to throw across the room, where a guy was talking about how we have iPhones because we don't want to look poor and everything like that. And I was like, oh, like, ouch. Like, you know, there are people that choose Android, right? Like that was pretty tough. I don't know what to say to that crowd. That felt pretty pejorative. Sorry about that, all of our Android listeners. Not my. I did not say that.
That was not his words.
Yeah,
I love mine.
Yeah,
love my Pixel. Works like a champ.
I love that you love your Pixel. I'm not. That's what makes America great, you know? Just choices.
Choices, yes.
All day long. You can choose, Richard. Do you want a device that works or do you want an Android? Oh.
I see what you did there.
It was a joke. Anyway, just talking about the Internet of Things. I don't know. Like we were closing the show, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Hey, remember that they did this?" Squirrel.
Yeah.
So
I'll have to do some more looking into that. That's intriguing.
I think stuff like this is going to be more like widespread.
Yeah.
And it probably already is. I mean, there is an element of, I do need to go ahead and say this. Like, again, this is like the 5th time that I've said this wasn't supposed to be a Ubiquity or Unify Love Fest. But the idea that because it's what I work in all the time, Chris at least has some respite from that. It does mean that so many times you are trying to figure out how the innovations that are happening are relevant to you. Like what do I need to know about this? Do I not need to know about this? Like honestly, the one that always pops into my head is they've got Unify now has the ability to like connect to EV chargers and turn them on or off based on whether or not you're an employee and they're supposed to be charging your. I'm like, we're never going to have to worry about that. But like,
yeah, that's
cool, I guess, that you can do that.
I think that's still a little more gimmick.
It feels like it. But at the same time, like, is that a real thing in other parts of this country where they're like, we have EV chargers, but you can't be using them if you're not an employee?
Correct.
It makes sense. I'm not saying that it doesn't,
you don't
but
want
like
just anybody pulling up and racking up your electric bill.
No, but are there really that many employers that are like, I'm going to provide EV chargers for my, I almost said family?
In certain states, I suspect it does happen.
Wow. Okay. Like that's a thing.
California is a great example because they're driving everybody to EV.
Mm-hmm.
They were really pushing the initiative to, by 2030, they don't want to sell gasoline-powered vehicles in the state anymore.
That's cute.
So
this is why states should not be in charge of other states.
Correct.
Don't do that.
Correct.
We don't live in California.
Correct. But the flip side is they go, hey, can you like unplug your EV? We're hurting for generating enough power. It's like, well, then don't ask everybody to have an EV, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Mr. Newsom.
That's rough. That is, yeah. Like, you got to have some serious solar panels on the top of your building.
On top of your car.
Yeah, right. Anyway, there's a lot there. Maybe we'll talk about EVs next time. No, we won't.
No.
That's not what we're doing. Okay. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. This is 2 in 2 weeks.
Yes, we are going to be back in this groove. We are making this happen.
Yes. Yep. I'm gone next week.
Yeah.
But the next week
we'll be right back in. And that's 2 weeks.
September 6th, 1 year since the release of the first podcast. Hard to believe. Yeah, I know. OP3 numbers look really nice since the last show.
I'm just saying, when you post stuff,
yeah, it's amazing what happens when you
people
post
can
new
listen
content.
to it. Oh my gosh!
So we're up 2 whole subscribers. Drum roll. 14, baby.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. We're doing this for ourselves. You know that, right?
Yes. Yeah. You don't do podcasting for money.
No. Well, we don't.
Well,
Somebody does. Joe Rogan is fine.
Yeah, but he doesn't even need that money.
No, he's fine.
So, yeah, you podcast for the fun of it. It's not an exit strategy.
No.
Unless you can work out some sweet deals.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I am waiting for us to be discovered. When we're discovered, I'm going to be so excited about doing gear reviews.
We just have to keep hitting that Unify, and
eventually Unify,
it'll catch, and that can be the start.
Hey, Rode. Hey,
yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, we will.
That was a joke.
We will review your gear.
Anyway, always good to hang out with you, bro.
Absolutely.
Thanks for making the time.
Not a problem. See you, everybody.
Thanks, Obama.